Headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.
I don't know. We talked last week about the emotional turmoil and what you have all gone through. I sat yesterday, genuinely, Phil, my jaw was on the floor. Hebblethwaite didn't even apologise. He said, I knew we were breaking the law, we'd do it again, and I didn't put any package to the unions because it would have been a waste of time. Can you respond to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have a collective bargaining agreement, which has been held sacred for years, and previous managements have always adhered to that. We've always gone through due process, and basically, this management have just gone through everything, coaching horses, and then, what can you say?
33 years. Just explain. In personal terms, to be treated like that after that long, what does that do? How does that make you feel?
It feels like my whole career's just been thrown in the dustbin. I mean, what I've achieved and what's been done, over 33 years, it's just thrown away. I'm almost speechless over it.
33 years, 800 employees, and the way ahead from those employees is shrouded in confusion. Redundancy, apparently I read this week, P&O are looking at making £36.5 million worth of payments, severance payments. But you make the very good point. To replace skilled and trained and good staff with foreign workers on $5.15 an hour, well below the minimum wage in this country, without the relevant experience, says everything about the way this company wants to go forward, doesn't it?
Obviously the safety side of it puts that in question. I mean, our job is very highly skilled and very high, and we're very professional at it. And we've been doing it for a long time. All controls, etc., are all in place through experience.
Yeah. And
Mr. Hebblethwaite seems to believe that these staff that's replaced us, they're very highly skilled marine professionals. I'm afraid I'm hearing different. It just bounds belief,
It does.
All I can say is that as far as P&O are going forward, I mean, the company's pride.
I mean, this is something we talked about before, and I'd love your take on this in terms of where we're at now from a week ago. You can talk about the financial implications. We know that P&O Ferries is owned by DP World, Dubai Ports World, which sponsors the European Golf Tour to the tune of 200+ million a year. They had 100 million black hole. What I don't get, Phil, is how, and I said it to Peter earlier, nobody in that company had the foresight to think this is an appalling look. Not only do you treat 800 people so disgustingly, but you've got to answer to shareholders. Why would anybody want to go and work for P&O Ferries again on a good wage because you wouldn't trust them? And what about customers going forward, Phil? I've already had loads of people texting this show over the last week going, I'd never book with them again. They're disgusting. Did nobody at P&O think of that?
Well, I could only assume that they thought it was going to be. I have heard that some management considered that this operation was going to be easy. Which surprises me.
About as disillusioned as Putin, who thought he was going to go into Ukraine and get out within 3 to 5 days. Yeah. The same analogy. Where are we at with the employees like you who have lost their jobs? Is this a concerted... you made the point to me on Drive that the government and you are very strong on this. The government didn't know, the unions didn't. What's been the response? Are you getting legal representation in a unified way? What's happening, Phil?
Yeah, well, obviously... been discussing it with lawyers, the legal implications of this and where it is going to go forward. We know that, for me personally, we eventually will have to sign. We're on a countdown on that. Time is limited. And then obviously after that, we have to sign a non-disclosure. So therefore, we can't say any more about it. But all I can assume that everything's going to go on behind closed doors. Hopefully the government are going to step in and are going to, close this massive loophole, especially when an employer can flagrantly just socially dump all their staff.
Absolutely. And what's frightening about what you just said is we'll have to sign if we want any money. With that will come an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, which will mean that you can't actually do it. So they've systematically worked out, because of this loophole that needs absolutely closing, I agree with you, because the parent company apparently isn't based in Great Britain. The answer is we can sack them. There'll be a bit of bad publicity. We'll pay them off. They'll keep quiet. They've got an NDA. They want their money. We'll get on with their lives. I think that's appalling in every single way, but it does still not answer, obviously, for you people, the horror of losing your career and the stain and all that. But it does not answer how P&O think the British public are going to respond, because they will respond. That's the great thing about this country. People will just go, I don't like the way they've treated their staff. And if you're a worker in other such related businesses, or any other sort of worker that's got a company like that, you'll be thinking, could that happen to me?
Well, that's it. The loophole is closing. There are obviously other unscrupulous employers who possibly might be thinking along the same line.
What do you want from the government, Phil? What do you need from the government?
We need the government to sort of come down hard on all this, and obviously with punitive fines, and even go down the legal road. And obviously, that's above my pay grade as far as that's concerned. But I know there should be a due process, and therefore all these people should be brought to rights. Unfortunately enough, with the way everything is managed these days, especially in my particular industry, a lot of it's smoke and mirrors. Offshore contracts, obviously on flags, flags of convenience, or even in the case of our vessels, Bohemian, Bermudan, and obviously Cypriot flag. Therefore, it's out in the UK. But I just wish that everybody, like the MCA, etc., the Marine Coast Guard Agency will come down and knock a ton of bricks.
Well, they should do. A week on from news, and it's interesting, and I'm really grateful for you joining us. I was here when it was announced. We were all gobsmacked. We spoke to you. You look like it's dragged you down, pal, to be fair.
It's been tiring. It's been one hell of a week. And obviously all angles have been, looked at, etc. But to be honest, as I've said to a lot of my colleagues, it's the rock and a hard place. And therefore, you just try to do everything and anything. You're hoping that the government would have been able to turn it around. Disappointed with the emergency motion where the Tories decided to abstain from voting, and therefore it might have made a difference. But obviously this management are obviously especially making a statement that they'll do it again. And obviously there's a bit of a flaky apology there at the beginning of the inquiry.
You look like a rabbit caught in the headlights. To you and all your colleagues, mate, Phil, and I really appreciate you coming on Breakfast, because I think this is, shocking. You did 33 years, you get dropped by Zoom. You find yourself having to sign an agreement if you want your severance pay, which means you can never tell the truth. If you ever can, you know where to come, mate, and respect to you for making the call, and to all your colleagues in Dover and the other ports, appreciate it, and I hope you get what you need. Phil Lee's there.
Good talk.
Hot talk. Bold talk. Talk radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.